And the invitation in your seat is just to slow, just to come to a stop before we start. So you may already have had a busy day, but can you just settle now into the floor, the prop, and the earth? And then really keying in on your sense of hearing. Invitation this morning to listen for what you would like to hear. Listen for what you would like to hear. So legs are heavy, sit bones evenly weighted. Just tuck the low back in slightly and feel lift through your spine. See that your ears are lined up over your shoulders. So the chin is slightly tucked and the back of your skull is reaching up towards the heavens. Soften your hands, your eyes, and your ears. Again, so that you can hear, be listening for what you want to hear. Bring your awareness to your breath. Allow your inhale to be long and deep. And your exhale to be long and slow. Just 4 more rounds of breath here. And with your last exhale, really deep, slow exhale, let it all out, dropping anything you don't need. You can lift your gaze, open your eyes, move through your shoulders, wiggle, waggle, come over to your mat and come to your back. And the setup for the mat is blanket over mat, or if you have some carpet that you can practice on, so that we're not actually sticking on the sticky mat. And then you'll need your strap nearby and a block. Okay, so let's get that all set up and then come onto your back and just invoke that yawn. Do a little pendiculation, just allow the stretch to happen from the inside out. Really unfolding stretch. And then Shavasana. Palms down into the floor. Palms down into the floor. Okay, feel for an even weighting of your heels, even weight in through the hips, the pelvis, and then just slide right palm down towards, kind of towards your right knee, but it won't go that far. And then release, slide left hand down. So we do this in the hips. We will do this in the hips as well. The up slip, down slip, but really pay attention to what's happening in your shoulder blades. And maybe that, the upper part of the trapezius that we looked at. Just allow the slide to happen on the inhale. And on the exhale, come back to the starting position. Then inhale, slide the other hand down. Exhale back to start. Just letting the hands slide. There's no pressure on the floor. And then you can come back to the starting position. Now just let your palms relax up. And now press through right heel, slide the right hip down. Release, press through left heel. Toes are pointed up towards the ceiling or back towards your shins. And just slide one foot or one heel, so the heel presses away, and you feel now the up slip, down slip in the hips. Great. Now come back to resting and bring the soles of your feet to the floor and let your knees rest together, and bring your hands, bring your fingertips to the top of your trapezius. So I have to get your nice bright orange jacket out of the way so that the fingers are just at the top of the trap here. And you're just tugging a little bit or just pulling a little bit on this, the skin, the fascial system underneath. And then just bring your elbows towards one another and then away from one another. Elbows in towards one another. Elbows out. They won't probably go all the way to the floor. It's a lot on the wrist. Back and forth, just taking your time. Little fascial release. Right there. At the shoulders, at the upper back. Probably one more repetition will be enough. Good. Then let your arms come back down, palms up, press your forearms into the floor. Press your forearms into the floor. Great. Then separate knees, relax your hands, separate your knees, and then a few pelvic tilts. Inhale, draw the pubic bone away from the navel and tuck your chin. Exhale, press low back into the floor, slide chin up towards the ceiling, open your jaw. Inhale, low back comes away from the floor, tuck your chin. Exhale, draw your low back into the floor, slide chin up towards the ceiling, open jaw. All right, do that little pattern a few times. Okay, and then from here, bring your fingers back to the top of your trap. You can rest your knees together so fingers are right at the top of your trapezius, right? You're on your back. And then draw your elbows down towards your navel, circle them around behind. Draw your elbows down towards your navel and circle your elbows now. Keeping your hands, your fingertips on the upper trapezius. It's happening in your shoulders, in your shoulder blades, your scapulae. Pretty challenging. Take it in the other direction. Knees are bent. You're just resting your knees together. Okay, and good release. Arms down to the floor, palms up, press your forearms into the floor. Maybe pump your hands, so fist and then open hand, fist, open hand. Good, then relax your hands. And with the knees bent or one leg straight, let's take the right knee into some circles. So circling the knee, feeling this movement in your hip. Working in the four corners of the body today, hips and shoulders. Then circle the other direction. And then come back to the center. Inhale, bring your knee into your chest, then foot up towards the ceiling, and slowly exhale down. Inhale, bend the knee. Point the toes, bring the knee in towards your chest, then reach up towards the ceiling, flex the toes, and exhale back down to the floor. And make that all nice, one big movement. Nice and smooth and silky movement. Our upper body's relaxed as much as possible. And you can take the right leg back to the floor, bend your knee, take your sole of your foot to the floor, and we'll take the other leg. So circling first. Knee is bent, and you're circling the knee like you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with your knee. Both directions. Then come back to center. Inhale, bring that knee into the chest. Maybe you can notice if there's a difference on this side. Reach that leg up towards the ceiling, flex toes, and slowly lower down. Inhale, point your toes, bring your knee in towards your chest, reach up towards the ceiling, flex toes, and lower down. Keep that little pattern. I feel my cycling muscles from the other day. This is the same kind of action, of course. Arms there. You have a little engagement in your core. That's great. And then release. Both legs long, both arms long. Take just an integration breath. Just feel it. Okay, so now bring your arms into the T position. T position. No, I'll change my orientation a little bit here. T position. Okay. And we'll take the arms into internal rotations. So you're going to turn the palms to face down towards your feet and then keep going. So palms are down on the floor. And then can you keep going and try to get your knuckles down to the floor, the back of your hands, really intense internal rotation. And then release. And now start to go externally. So now turn the arms from the shoulder your palms are facing the space behind you, and then keep going if possible. Try to get your palms down to the floor. Thumbs, pinky's facing the space behind you. And you probably have your arms lifted off the floor at that point. And then come back to that internal rotation. Just take it as far as you can without causing any pain. And then back to external rotation. Okay, back and forth. Internal, external rotation. Good. Okay. Now come back to center, and arms are out at the T again, but relaxed, palms up. Bend through your right knee, and left leg is long. And now on your inhale, draw the right knee across midline. We do this a lot. This is the unwinding movement. Foot stays connected as you lift. Look at an arch in your back, drawing that right knee across midline. Now lift the right arm just an inch off the floor. And then set it down, bring your knee back to center. We'll take a couple of repetitions of that. So inhale and draw your knee across midline. You'll get an arch in your back. Lift the right arm, same side arm, about an inch off the floor. And release, come back on the exhale. One more time. And release, good. Then we'll take the other side. So bend the left knee, right leg long. Inhale, just get that action first. Draw the left knee across midline. You'll get an arch in the back. Right now, lift the left arm off the floor about an inch. And release back down. A couple more times. Come back to center, and now bend both knees, take the soles of both feet to the floor, and let your knees windshield wiper back and forth. Keep the feet connected, so inner edges, outer edges, like you're skiing. If you're a skier, back and forth, just settling in the pelvis, the hips. Great. Then back to center and take both legs long, and now shear the right hip up towards the ceiling. So right hip pointer pops up towards the ceiling, release, then left hip pointer pop up towards the ceiling, release, and just take that back and forth a few times. Great. Then from here, you can bend your knees again and take your knees together if that feels comfortable. Bring your arms into the goalpost arm and check to make sure that you have a true right angle with your arms. So your upper arms are at a right angle to your torso, and then your lower arms are at a right angle to your upper arms. Okay. Good. On your next exhale, you'll pivot through the elbows and bring your lower arms down beside your body, keeping that right angle. Okay, keep that right angle. Good. And on the inhale, you're going to pivot to your elbows and bring the arms back, and at the same time arch through your back and tuck your chin. Exhale, pivot through the elbows so the lower arms come back, fingers pointing down towards your feet, You're rounded in the back now, and your chin is sliding up towards the ceiling. So the movement in the spine is the same as what we just did, but now we're adding the arms. So inhale, bring the arms back, arch through your back, and tuck your chin. There you go. And then exhale, round, chin up towards the ceiling, and arms down. Take that a couple times. If the spinal undulation is confusing to you, just start with the arms and the spine will probably naturally follow. Just trust that. Good. Okay, then come back, relax for a sec. Come back to hands, fingertips on the traps. Inhale, draw the elbows towards the exhale, draw the elbows towards the navel and round your back. And now add the spinal undulation. So elbows draw towards navel, round your back, and tuck or tip your chin up towards the ceiling. Inhale, sweep your elbows back, arch the back, and tuck your chin. Okay. Exhale, draw elbows towards your navel, round your back, and tip your chin up towards the ceiling. Inhale, bring the elbows back behind you as much as possible, arch your back, and tuck your chin. Exhale, elbows towards navel, round back, tip chin up towards the ceiling. Inhale, elbows come back, arch your back. Now stay this time. So your low back is arched away from the floor, fingertips are at your traps, chin is tucked. Press your hips up into bridge. And then crawl your hands. You have to go kind of right to left shoulder. Crawl your hands a little further down your traps. So that hands are tucked underneath. Elbows sort of pointing up towards the ceiling or back a bit, and your hips are lifted in bridge, chin tucked into chest. Excellent. And then roll down one vertebra at a time. Release your hands. Take your arms down to your sides. Press forearms into the floor and open and close your hands. Open and close your hands. Okay. Now, make sure you have some room behind you for this next one, and you'll come to Shavasana first, or Tadasana, just lying on your back. Bring the backs of your hands together right above your pelvis, depending on the length of your arms. Good. Then you're going to do this nice, long, slow inhale as you drag your hands up, 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 up. Backs of the hands stay together till you get to about your sternum. Then flip your hands so your fingers are right above your face. And then extend above your head, keeping the back of the hands as together as long as possible. Then palms face the floor. Then you sweep the hands back and come back to the starting position. So backs of hands together. Then you'll draw the hands up, 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 up. Keep coming back, the hands together. You're above your sternum. Flip your hands so your fingers are right facing the back now and above your face. And then you extend your arms palms face down as you open up, big circling till you can come back to the center. Come back to the starting position. Backs of hands together, sweep the hands up above your sternum, flip your hands, fingers reaching behind you, then open up. Try that a couple more times. My couch is in the way here for my left hand. You can make it as fluid as possible. As fluid as possible. All right, and we'll come back to the Shavasana. Roll onto one side. So you're resting on the bottom arm and you have your back leg behind you. This is a build-up for Anatasana, right? So you can use your top hand for balance. Just take your top foot into the bottom leg, inside of the bottom leg, and come into tree pose, Bhujakasana. Good, and then just keep a light pressure. Great, now take that foot back to where you started behind. And then we're just gonna tip, 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 and slide, bringing that bent leg out to the side now as we slide onto our belly. Bend the bottom arm, resting on the bottom arm, and take the arm that was the top arm out to the side, and then just pulse. So you keep your head resting on your bottom arm and just pulse, slide your hand out and back, out and back. So so the knee that's bent, it's the same arm. Sliding here, sliding, sliding, sliding. Good. And then come back to the center, press into your forearm that you're resting on, scoot your belly over. Now you should have your full belly on the floor. Bring that arm that you were resting on beside you. So that's my right arm. And I'm going to press just slightly, just a little bit of a twist, a spiral. And then release. Take my bottom arm long again, slide everything back. And come back to the starting position with foot behind, extended leg. Great. Then we'll roll on to the other side. Foot is behind. You can press the long leg, the bottom leg, press your pinky toe into the floor. That'll help you really maintain your balance. Line up the back of your head with the back of your sacrum, and then take your top foot into the bottom leg and come into tree. You can use your top hand for a little bit of balance. And then from here, the bottom arm becomes, we're going to bend that bottom arm, slide out. That top knee stays bent. We slide out. We turn the bottom forearm so we can rest our head on that. And the top arm is extended out. And we're just sliding. So just let it happen in your arm. So don't keep your forehead on your bottom arm. You can press into that forearm and scoot your belly a bit. Couple more slides. And then we bring, then we're going to take the opposite arm, the arm that's on the bottom, we're going to press it to the opposite side of our body and just twist slightly. Now, stay on your belly now. Bring both legs long and hands stacked, forehead resting on your hands. From here, then pop your head up and take your elbows, sides of your hands to the side of your head, and just pop up onto your elbows. So it's like a cobra. Your elbows spiking down into the floor and the hands to the side of your head. So your gaze is down. Your gaze is down. Gaze is down. Now from here, release hands down to the floor and come into a baby cobra. Good, and press up to knees and slowly bring hips back towards heels in a child's pose. Good. Then inhale, come to table. Come into table, and we'll just take some of the same movement on the floor with the hips. So bring the right knee in towards your chest, circle it around. And then change the direction. And then extend the right leg long. And exhale round and bring that knee in towards your chest. Extend the right leg long. Exhale, bring that knee in towards your chest. Same thing we did on the floor. Then we'll go to the other side. So bringing, circling through the hip, left hip, going in one direction, and then the opposite direction. And then extend the left leg long and draw it in on the exhale towards your chest. Great, then both knees to the floor, and we'll set back onto your heels. Take your strap now behind your back, palms in on the strap. Press, try to pull or break the strap apart as you lift your arms off your back. Keep your sit bones pressing down into your heels. And then you can release there. And now if you've got the blanket on your mat, you want to take the blanket and move it out of the way. So you can use the sticky mat. And let's meet again in the tabletop. Take a couple of rounds of cat-cow here. Great, and then inhale up to your knees, standing on your knees, and bring your right foot forward and just drop into Anjaneyasana, just the way you would drop into Anjaneyasana without thinking about it too much. And then press your hips back, so you're more in proposal pose. Line your head up over your torso, over your leg that's the back leg that's pressing into the knees, pressing into the mat. Okay, now bring your fingertips to your low ribs and draw your low ribs in. Whoa, feel a change already. Upstroke the navel, and then a little posterior tilt in your pelvis. And can you feel a little different stretch in the leg, knee on the floor, that leg, that back leg? Can you feel a little different stretch? Hold all that as you low lunge again. Bring the arms out, palms up. That external rotation. Keep that action everywhere else, and then bring the arms up overhead. Palms facing one another. Woo! Yeah. Lots of work here. Now press hands down through space as you come back up and bring both knees together, and we'll take the opposite side. So left foot comes forward and just come down into Anjaneyasana without thinking too much about it. Then press back up, proposal pose. Line up your head over your torso, over your hips, over this back leg. Good. Now, fingertips to low ribs. Suck the low ribs in. It's almost like a little rounding in your back, right? Upstroke the navel. Navel comes in. Posterior tilt to the pelvis. And you should really feel a good stretch in the front of that quad. Well, almost like you're pulling your tailbone down towards the earth for this. And then keep that action as you come back forward into the lunge. Arms out to a T, palms up. So you have the external rotation. Woo, arms up. And keep the action in the torso. So low ribs pulled in, navel upstroked, and that posterior tilt of the pelvis. Now exhale, press and return. Good. And both knees to the floor. Set your hips back onto your heels. And then offset. Hips to one side, feet to the other. I've got my knees to the right, so I'm going to take my right foot resting in my left, top of my right foot resting in my left sole of my left foot. And I'm going to twist to the left. Beautiful. Come back, switch the orientation of your feet. So whatever the bottom foot is, that receives the top foot, and they kind of cradle there together, and then you're turning away from your knees. Great. Now we'll unravel and bring the feet apart, and hands can be behind, and just that same windshield wiper, go slow here, just feeling the internal and external rotation. When you go to, say, the left, draw the left sit bone back. That'll keep you from migrating. Draw the right sit bone back, and you go to the right. Good. Now let's see if we can do it without the hands behind. And then let's see if we can pick up our feet, come into one side, pick up the feet, go to the other side. So working in the hips. Now, the next time your knees go over to the left, plant your left hand beside your left hip and press up, extending the right leg long and coming into a side stretch, side bend, side opening. Then drop hips to the floor, pick up your feet, take your knees to the right, right hand beside your right thigh, press up, extend left leg long, and come into side bend, opposite direction. Try it one more time in each direction. Drop hips, lift legs, switch, press, drop hips, Pick up the feet, switch the knees, opposite hand to that other side, and extend out through your sideways. Good. Come back to the center. Good. And stack knees over ankles. Doesn't matter which one's on top to start. So if you can, stack, instead of crossing, stack the lower legs like some firewood. This might be where you stay, you land. And you might be able to fold forward, change my orientation here. You might be able to fold forward slightly into that. Then bring hands behind and switch. If this is not happening in your body, do sort of a half lotus. But the idea here is to get into the outer hip. Ooh, and you will feel it, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Couple more breaths here. Patience, patience. Unravel the legs. Come back to table. Turn the toes under. Press up and back. Downward facing dog. Okay, bend through your knees. Let your head be relaxed. And then re-straighten the legs. Now, bend through your knees again and take the edge of your mat with your hand, both edges, so that the weight is on your thumbs in the inner hand. So you're taking the, grasping the edge of your mat, bend through your knees again, re-straighten, come into your downward dog, grasping the edge of your mat. Spin your triceps, it's the external rotation. So yes, the weight is on the inner hands, and then we spin the tricep down towards the earth. So there's a spiraling action through the arms in your downward dog. Then release the palms back to the floor. Inhale to walk feet up towards hands. Deep bend in the knees, bring hips back, hands back, press up to standing. Press up to standing. Good. From the center of your mat now, let's take the right foot forward and the left foot back, 0, 1. 0, 1, good. So bending through your front knee, all right, and lifting the back hamstring. Straighten the front knee slightly so that you can find that same action with when we were on the floor in Anjaneyasana. So you could take your fingertips to your low ribs, draw them in, navel upstrokes, yes, a little tilt or a little pulling down of the tailbone, and then drop more firmly into the front knee, but keep all that action happening in the upper body. Then bring the arms out to the sides, turn palms up, sweep arms up. Good, strong warrior 1. Inhale the fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. Step back, downward dog. Bend through your knees, weight the inner hands, and spiral the outer arms down towards the floor. Find that spiral, and then re-straighten the legs. Inhale to come forward into high plank, pressing through your hands firmly and through your heels. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Bring your hands back, palms face up, lift shoulder tops, hands, then head and shoulders. Legs, if you'd like to. Squeeze legs together for a little bit more contraction in the hamstrings. Then hands to the lower ribs, press through and back to downward dog again. Walk your feet towards your hands, deep bend in the knees, reach the arms forward, press up to standing. You're in the middle of your mat. Left foot forward, right foot back. Warrior one. Just allow yourself to bend into the front knee, reach the back leg up, but now back up a little bit and draw the hips up. Draw the whole pelvic floor up, tuck low ribs in, tuck navel in, little posterior tilt in the pelvis. Yeah, it is a back bend for sure, but we don't want to over arch the low back. So can you draw your tailbone down towards the floor? Keep all that action, rebend through the front knee. Arms out to a T, palms up. Sweep arms up, palms facing one another. Reach fingertips on the inhale. Exhale down around the front foot, and from the front foot, sweep feet back, downward facing dog. Bend through the knees, press the hips back, re-extend the legs. Inhale, come forward, high plank, pressing through your heels, pressing the floor away with your hands. And then knees, chest, chin to lower. Bring the hands back, interlace hands at your sacrum, and reach the hands off the back as you lift your head and shoulders. Press tops of feet into floor. Release your hands alongside your low ribs. Press up and back. Child's pose, downward facing dog. Downward dog. Weighting the inside of the hands and turning the triceps down towards the floor. Bend through your knees, press the thighs back to the space behind you. Walk your feet up towards your hands, deep bend in the knees, reach the arms forward. We're in a Utkatasana, and then press yourself up to standing. Tadasana, arms to the sides. Really, palms forward. Feel the strength of your Tadasana, lining the back of your head up with the sacrum. Now, line yourself up so you're in the middle of your mat. The back of your mat, the long edge of your mat at your heel edge. We'll open up here to a big wide stance. Turn right foot out, turn left heel out. You'll feel, you should feel here now an inward rotation of the back leg and an external rotation of the front leg. Same way we played with that on the floor. Press your big toe mound into the floor, front foot, as you externally rotate the thigh, spiraling through the legs. Inhale, reach the front arm up, right arm up. Sweep your sideways forward as your hips go back, and then wherever you land, that's your triangle. Backhand to your hip, then scoop your belly, take your top hand behind your head, resting your head in your hand, press low hand into shin, shin back into hand, and really open through the upper body, trap work, good. Bend through the front knee as you sweep your arms out. into a T. Warrior two, turn palms up, external rotation of the arms. Reach the front palm forward, drop your forearm to your thigh, and come into extended side angle. Press your forearm firmly into your thigh so the front shoulder, right shoulder stays out of your ear. And then inhale, sweep everything back up. Turn both feet to face parallel to one another, hands on hips. Take a few pelvic tilts right here, neutralizing your pelvis. Good. Now turn the left foot to line up with the long edge of your mat. Turn your right heel out. Back leg is in internal rotation, front thigh and external rotation. Even so, you press into the big toe mound of the front foot. So that front leg, really feel that spiraling. Inhale, left arm comes up, front arm comes up. Sweep the side ribs forward as the hips go back, landing wherever you land. Press your hand into your shin or thigh or ankle, and that body part volleys back. Right? Backhand or top hand to your hip. Then sweep the belly, turn the belly, bring your top hand to your back of your head. Can you get the elbow to be pointing up to the ceiling? And from here, we'll sweep arms into a T as we bend through the front knee, turning palms up, external rotation in our warrior two, and then inhale, sweep forward with the front hand, come down to your forearm on front thigh, really press those two together, and then sweep top arm over the ear, extended side angle. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep top arm up, straighten both legs, turn both feet to be parallel to one another. Take a few pelvic tilts. Heel toe the feet together. We'll finish with a standing balanced posture that we did already on the floor. So we're going to Vrikasana. So put your weight into one foot and either rest the other foot on top of that foot, into the calf, or into the center of your thigh, where you did the same thing on the floor. And if you chose slippery pants today, good luck, right? Pressing foot into leg. We've got standing leg neutral and bent leg in external rotation. Release. Try the other side. Maybe this side's different. Probably is, but do your best to replicate what you did on the other side. Notice where your hips are if they're level. Sometimes it helps to bring the bent knee forward to level the hips. What do you want to hear? Release. Release back to Tadasana, and let's take a sun salutation to come to the floor. So inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, bend through your knees generously as you fold. Place hands to the floor and step or jump back to downward facing dog. Inhale to come forward, high Dandasana. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga to the floor. Slide hands back, press into a cobra. Exhale, release down to the floor. Slide into cobra one more time and then press into table. And then hips back towards heels. For child's pose. Here it might feel nice to just let your arms drape to your sides in a full balasana. Letting the back spread open. Arms resting alongside your body. And then bring your hands forward and just press up enough so that you can dive one arm under the other and slide onto your back or drop like I did onto your back, right? And then anything else you need here, a twist or anything else before we drop into Shavasana. Really allow yourself now just to integrate practice, dropping into Shavasana. Feel the weight of your bones. Let your bones be heavy. Soften your hands. Soften your eyes, the pursing. Soften your ears and the skin on your face. Let your breath be relaxed and natural. How is it now? Just stay where you are. I'll finish with an Om. Really allow the vibration of the Om to just penetrate through your whole body. Deepest blessings for the day. Namaste, my friends.